is HHDG. We're on another episode of HHDG Media, the podcast. Shout out, as always, to everyone tuning in through our YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook group. As always, you can go and check out past interviews, latest music that's out there, as well as our merch and upcoming events through our website, hhdgmedia.com, as you can see on the bottom banner. Always, this is HHDG Media Inc. It's a family, it's a crew. It consists of 5 members, 5 owners. That is Rock Vader KB, T. Smith, Skelly Top, Demare, and myself, Wiki. For tonight, we have a dope producer, returning guest, continuously dropping some dope music, dope projects as well. Just recently, before his album dropped this month, which is titled Loopzilla, he had a project with a dope Chicago artist, I Am God. They dropped that Bloodstained Suede 2. And before that, if I remember correctly, that was with Napoleon the Legend. That was a Pen Game from 2023. Another dope artist. I mean, this man knows how to pick the MCs to rock over his production. And the title of the new album, speaks volumes. But we'll definitely dig more deep with it to the root of it with that. But my man loves the samples, and he does a dope job with it every time. He has a new project. Some of the notable people that are on this latest album are definitely people that he's worked with before, like Supreme Cerebral, as Napoleon Legend, like we just mentioned, I Am God, another Chicago artist, Water, Casablanca's on there, who also did the engineering work, another multi-talented artist, and Silent Snipers, which if some people are not familiar, get familiar. That's one of Mussolini's people as well. Who else is on there? Riallo Sparkswell. We'll definitely get into more who's on here. But for tonight, we definitely going to focus more on the new album. And if you want to go and really find out more about Clypto, he's been on there before. You can go and check out the previous interview. But for tonight, we're gonna stick more with Loopzilla, the creative process and how everything went down, the artists that on there and everything, and then just see what else is going on with Clypto for currently in 2024. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce, repping Oceanside, California, Clypto.
Yo, peace. What's good with you?
Doing good. How you been?
Hey, been well, man. I can't complain, you know what I mean? Still here, so
Yep.
Can't complain.
Absolutely. Man, I mean, you went all in for this new album.
Yeah, a little bit. Little bit. Yeah. I really wanted to just, every time that I do a project, I want to put on for the culture. You know what I mean? I want to represent the culture right. And I want to put my best foot forward. And I couldn't cut any corners with this project. I really couldn't, especially with the artist, my man Johnny that did the artwork. Johnny Bosch. He's credited on the artwork. I couldn't cut any corners on it, man. I really had to give it the special treatment that it needs, and especially the MCs that it needs on it too.
Definitely. Now, when some people create albums, they might already have a title ready before they even actually start the creative process with the music. Was that for you, or was it the opposite? You already started having some music?
Nah, you know what? This whole Loopzilla idea came about in like 2013.
Oh,
even
okay.
even before I was really like crazy, like, getting anyone on my beats or anything like that. It was really an idea already that I wanted to have brought to fruition, and it just so happened that the stars aligned, and I was able to start getting groovy with this project. And then because I was like, yo, I got these tracks that basically kind of fell in my lap.
Hmm.
So I was actually working on a collab project, like where I'm doing all the beats, and so it was supposed to be another project, right? But it just wasn't moving as fast as I kind of wanted it to.
Okay.
And so I'm like, look, let me get these joints that are already mixed and mastered. I'm just gonna do something else with them. And then I was like, yo, this is what I should do. I should go ahead and do the Loopzilla album with them. And so we agreed to do all that, and yeah, so that's kind of what happened. I just took the reins with those tracks and then just added on. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because they were already dope tracks. I didn't want to sit on them for too long. Like we got these MCs to get on these joints. I want to showcase that. You know what I mean? I don't want to just sit on it and wait, you know. Like I don't feel that's fair to the artists that got on the joints. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
I didn't have to twist their arm to rap on these beats. You know what I mean? So if I didn't have to twist your arm to rap on these beats, then I should put it out in a timely fashion.
I get that. Definitely. As far as these beats, are these all fresh new beats, or some of them you had in the stash?
You know what? Yes and no. Like I was cooking these beats. Like I said, I like for six of the joints, I specifically cooked these beats for this project, right? But like I said, they would wind up just not working out the way that I wanted it to in the time I wanted it to. So I had already took these joints and and I had already flipped these joints. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I would say yes and no. Like half of them, like they're still fresh. Like they're probably from like 2022 or 23, but they were just joints that I really liked, and we weren't doing anything with them. Like whether it be like with my man Charles from Divine Crime ENT, like they were just joints that were just sitting and they weren't really being used at the moment. So I'm like, yo, this one, Loopzilla. This one, Loopzilla. And then I already had an idea of who I wanted on the joints too, for which joints they were. Because I'm always cooking beats, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
I like to stay creative, you know what I mean? I don't like to just, oh, I made a beat, one beat a week. Like I like to stay active, because there's always stuff coming up for me where it's like, I'm gonna need beats. You know what I mean? I can't send the same 10 beats to 10 people, and it's not gonna work. So I just want to stay creative and stay active. You know, I like having my plate full, really.
Hmm. So, what challenges you to keep making be creative?
Um, to be quite honest with you, is and it's a very introspective part in why I keep creating and why I want to maintain staying busy with this music stuff, man, is because I don't know if I'm gonna be here tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna be here next month. I don't know if I'm gonna be here next year. You know what I'm saying? So I want to stay as active and as as possible. You know what I mean?
I feel like,
Um, it's just weird, man. It's like a weird type of thing inside of me that I've had for a while. Where it's like I want to stay as active as possible because I don't know how long I'm gonna have to live, and I don't mean to sound morbid. Like that's not the point, but it is what it is. Like I think that's kind of the what fuels me too. And also I got kids, so I want to make sure that I have something that you know. I'm not just hustling for me. I'm hustling for my last name. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yep.
So it's different. You know what I mean? I don't want everything that I'm doing to be in vain. You know what I mean? I want to create some type of like what do you call it? Like
Legacy.
generational wealth,
Yep.
like a legacy that you know what I mean? So something that transpires on into the future. So I just try to go hard with it, man. And that's why I said I like when my plate is full, you know. So I'm really not trying to take my foot off the gas. Like as soon as this project drop, all right, boom, what's the next project? You know what I mean? So I don't even really have time to really dive into a lot of these projects I do. You know what I mean? I'm
Mm,
already on to the next project. I may listen to it for maybe like a week or something, but after that, I'm on to the next one. I don't like playing stuff out, you know?
got you. Yeah, I definitely feel that because I think when I interviewed you in 2022, I think that was around. I think it was around March, if I
Oh,
remember
probably
correctly.
so, yeah.
And then my accident was in October of that year. So I mean, before the accident, I was always a determined person. I like to be productive and efficient. So even while I'm still going through my recovery now, I'm still pushing, you know.
Yeah.
And you said something important. You're not promised. You never know when you're gonna go. So you ain't got to be an asshole about it to everybody else, but keep at what you're good at.
Facts. Yep. For real. Yep. We glad you still here too, man.
Definitely appreciate that, man. Yep. Mm. So, which was one of the first songs for Loopzilla that you created?
One of the first song I would like to say one of the first songs that got created that wound up being on Loopzilla. That was probably the Trey 8 joint. So so basically like me and my man Davino from Exquisite Dope Records. Shout out Davino, man. He's a good dude, man. We um we was gonna collab on some stuff. You know what I mean? We collabed on the Conseco tapes. Um, back in I don't know when it was, 2021 or something, right? So we were gonna go ahead and do it again. You know what I mean? And it was gonna be Monaco 84. The joints weren't just getting done quick enough for me. So
Mm.
me and Davino we spoke and I'm like, look, I'm gonna take these joints, the joints that aren't done. You take these beats and you know put whoever you want on them. We'll connect later on what we doing. You know what I mean? And but for these joints that's already done, I don't want to sit on them. So let me go ahead and take these. So the joint that was done first, I think, was the Trey 8 joint, which is called Pagame, which means pay me. Um, dang, can you hear me? Because my headphones just went out.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay, bet. That was
Yeah, I
weird. It
put it
was like,
on mute. That was a.
oh, okay, it was like a weird silence. Um, so Pagame was the first joint that got done. The second joint that got done, I think, was the Realio Sparkswell and Squeegeo joint,
Ah,
right? It was that one. The next joint that got done, I think, was the Peso Jackson joint called Dough Whenever, right? Then after that joint, I think it was the Postman L joint that got done. The next joint that got done, it was halfway done, and it was a Silent Snipers one, right?
mhm.
But my man Davino lost the file. He
Ah,
lost the files to the WCW joint, the original beat, right? So I'm like, dang, I gotta cook another joint. Silent Snipers was cool with it because he didn't have the files. I asked Silent Sniper, he didn't have them anymore. So I'm like, okay, look, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna cook a whole nother beat, which I'm glad that it worked out the way that it did because
mhm.
things happen in divine order and divine timing and the
It's
way
true.
that they're supposed to. So the fact that that happened was a blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? So what wound up happening, I wound up cooking another beat. I got Silent Snipers back on it. He spit a whole different verse, and it was actually harder than the verse that he spit originally. So I'm like, okay, bet. So I got that, and then I'm like, ooh, who can I get on this, right, to finish it off? And I'm like, man, I gotta hit my man Mesquine to get on this joint. So shout out my man Mesquine Halim,
He's,
man.
he's nice, yeah, man.
He's really nice. And so
Delaware, man. I'm glad
we've
he's
been we've been meaning to like build anyway. You know what I'm saying? Since he's gotten back home, we've been meaning to build anyway. So I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna shoot this to you, you know. And then I told him this is gonna be like the first single that we drop off the tape, you know. Besides Crocodile Slippers, that was already out. But I'm saying as far as, you know, the next single to get people reintroduced to the Loopzilla idea.
Mhm.
And so we wound up dropping that as a single, like maybe like 2 weeks before the album drop, and so we called it Harlem Heat. So that joint was probably the next one that got finalized and done. Um, in between that joint, did I say Postman L? I said the
Yeah, you did.
Postman L one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So after that one, it was the Harlem Heat record that got done. That was the one that got done. So basically, those were the tracks that kind of fell in my lap, you know. Besides having to get Mesquite on the joint, like all the other ones, and the, you know, those are the ones that kind of fell in my lap that were done already. And then from there, you know, I think it was the Water and I Am God joint that got done. That was a new beat that I cooked directly for them.
That's crazy.
Um,
I love hearing
and,
them two round.
and then the between that one and the Supreme Cerebral joint with Illa featuring Illa, I already basically had the joint with Preem on it.
Mhm.
But we needed a hook. We needed somebody to like do like an ill hook. So I was like, oh, and I kind of already kind of had like an idea of how I wanted it to be, like
Yeah.
the type of, you know, I kind of wanted it to be like a One Blood type joint. You know what I mean? Like from the game. You remember that One Blood? You
Mhm.
remember that? So I kind of wanted to have that type of like aesthetic, I would call it, towards for the track. So I got my man Illa on that, man, and he slayed the hook, man. It was dope, and it came out real fire. So that was probably the next one. And then my man Phil V and Casa, I got my man Casa on it to set the stage, you know what I mean? And then had Phil V come in and do his thing, man. So shout out both of them. Shout out all of them, man, that made the tape, man. And my man Yasin, him and Ofinesse, I think that was one of the last joints to get done.
Okay.
Was
The
the
heavyweight
that's
joint. Yeah.
yeah, the
Okay.
heavyweight joint. That one in Church with Definite Mass. Shout out Definite Mass. You know, all
Mhm.
those joints came out. It just came out real organically. You know what I mean? Like I said, I didn't have to twist anybody's arm to get on these. You know, it was all love, man. Like everybody was down to hop aboard and do their thing, man. It's dope.
Yeah. That's dope. Mm. And who normally does your engineering? Because I know Casablanca did on Loopzilla.
Man, to be honest, bro, Casa does like I would say 80% of my mixes.
Oh,
80%.
okay.
You know, like he's really dope at what he does. You know, he doesn't get a lot of credit for that. But as soon as I heard, because he told me one day, he said, "Oh, if you need mixing and mastering, this is like a long time ago for
Hmm.
something." And he was like, "Yeah, I could get you on the mixing and mastering." I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Yeah, I actually mixed and mastered our project." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "That project is crazy." You know, the backdrop with me and
Hmm.
Casablanca. So I'm like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go." You know what I mean? And so Casa does like 80% of my mixes. I mean, if I have like if I have the say, then yeah, you know, that's who's doing the mixes. I mean, there's other people that can do mixing and mastering too. I'm not saying that other people can't do it. I'm just saying when it comes to my personal projects,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm reaching out to Casa definitely.
And shout out the whole Molly Empire. They just dropped that Molly Selections
They
yesterday.
they did. I seen that. I'm
That
gonna have to tap into
unreleased
that.
joints.
I'm gonna have to tap into that. Shout out Noah the Flood too. He been down
Yep.
since day one, man. He one of my day one supporters, man. Is Noah the Flood, man. He was copping beats for me when nobody was copping no beats for me. That's facts.
That's what's
Yeah.
up. Mm, man. Now, you were talking about the album cover, but
Mm.
that was done by, what was his name again? Johnny Bosch.
Yeah, word.
Um, did you give him any vision on it, or it was
Yeah,
just?
no, I did. I
Mhm.
did. I basically told him kind of what I wanted, and he slayed it right out the park. He slayed it right out the park. If you cop the CD,
Mhm.
because I'm gonna work on Loopzilla 2. I don't know when I'm gonna do it or get to going with it, but it's gonna be real crazy when I do Loopzilla 2. Like you thought this was crazy, Loopzilla 2 is gonna be even crazier. Um, yeah, that's the
See
joint
that
right
real
there.
quick.
Yeah. But I told him, I said, yo, I want like me like as Godzilla, like stomping through like downtown San Diego and just causing mad havoc, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? With like records in my hand or something. And so he's like, oh, okay, cool. And then like some time passed or whatever, and then he sent me that. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, this is bananas. You slayed this, right? So then he actually sent me two. So he sent me another one, and I was like, yo, this one is crazy too. I want this one, but I'm gonna use this one for Loopzilla 2. So if you see in on the inside panel of the CD, it shows Loopzilla 2 coming soon. That's gonna be the cover art for Loopzilla 2. It might
Okay.
be fine tuned a little bit, but that's basically what we're gonna use for Loopzilla 2 is that image. So yeah, he's mad crazy. I got him doing some stuff for me and Trust One right now. Shout out Trust One. He's actually the head label owner of M25. So the cats that did the
It's just cassette. Yep.
cassettes, yeah, exactly. So I got him doing. Whew, it's crazy, man. For my man Noose Tyrant, man, out of San Diego. He's real dope too, real intricate, crazy. So that's coming too, and the artwork is already like it's all he sent was like black and white, like
Mhm.
for right now until he puts the color on there, and it's just bananas. It's like we gave him direction for that too. You know what I mean? And he basically just slayed it and knocked it out of the park. Like I don't know anybody that can slay work like that when you tell them something and they can dial it in like that. I mean, this dude is crazy in a good way, you know. But I actually got a hold of him because he's the one that did the artwork for Pen Game. If you don't know,
Oh, okay.
so that's how I got in touch with him. You know what I mean? I hit up Napoleon like, "Yo, who did the artwork for Pen Game? It's crazy. Like, I want to tap in with him." And he was like, "Yo, Metropolis Comics and Toys." That's what he goes by on IG. So I'm like, "All right, cool. Let me hit him up, man." And we started building, and it's been crazy ever since.
Mm, that's dope.
Yeah.
I'm putting up the links since we talking about the cassettes and the CDs.
Oh, word. Yeah, yeah,
Go to M25 Music at
yeah.
their
These
Bandcamp for the
joints right
cassettes.
here.
There you go.
Yeah, you know what I mean. We got the orange one, the see-through orange, and
And
then
then
we
the
got the
turquoise one, right?
the turquoise joint. You know what
Yeah.
I mean. I don't know if you can kind of pick it up in there. It's a little kind of grainy, but yeah,
Mhm. And then if anybody's interested in the CDs, you can go to Clypto's Bandcamp.
yeah, facts. Yeah, crypto.bandcamp.com. Yeah.
Mhm. Mm. Now I gotta say, with everyone that is on here, and being I know your work, these MCs got some of the best work ethic and turnaround time of sending back work. So it seemed like everything just worked out properly.
Everything worked out. Like I said, I didn't have to twist nobody's arm. I didn't really have to like, you know what I mean? Which was it's a good thing, man, because that means that these cats really respect what you're doing, man, and want to be a part of something great.
Yeah.
And I don't see these cats as like, any run of the mill type cats, man. This is family that's on this album. You know what I mean? These are cats that I've been working with since like day one. Even if I haven't put in a lot of work with them recently,
Mhm.
like it's family. You know what I mean? They know at any given point in time, we're gonna connect and drop something. It ain't nothing. You know what I mean? Ain't no sweat off my back, just like it ain't no sweat off their back. So it was real dope, man, to get everything in a timely fashion and get everything dialed in the way that we did.
Dope, dope. Mm. Tell us some of the production process with this new album, because you hitting different elements and genres and sounds going on here. So
Yeah, like I said, the first two joints on the album is the Trey 8 joint and the Squeegeo and Rilio Sparkswell record. Those beats were ideas. They were samples that were sent to me from Divino of Exquisite Dope Records. You know what I mean? Not to be confused with Al Divino, but Divino from
Mhm.
Exquisite Dope Records. He sent me those samples to flip. So I flipped them. You know what I mean? And then he wound up getting Trey 8 on it. And then he wound up getting Squeegeo on it. I reached out to Rilio seeing if he want to get on it, and he was down to get on the record. So that's how all the stuff came about. At least with that one, I think the Doe and Ever track. I think I flipped that myself. I found that sample myself. Um, but the other record was like I think it's a Kill Bill type vibe or something with the Postman L joint that was
Mhm.
sent to me from Divino. So I flipped that one from Divino sending me the sample. Um, so that's how some of those joints came about, and then the remaining of them, I basically had them. I had these joints, or I cooked them fresh. Like I know the one for Water and I Am God, I cooked it fresh. The one for Preem actually sent me the idea for that sample, and I flipped it, and then he got on it, and we wound up using that track for Loopzilla because he was like, "Yo, use that for Loopzilla. That'd be a dope
Yeah.
look." So I'm like, "All right, bet." You know. So, um, just I even the joint. There's a joint that's the heavyweight joint. That joint is crazy. I flipped some Japanese city pop for that joint.
Ah,
That joint is crazy. A lot of people don't know. See, like a lot of people don't know about Japanese city pop. They're like I really, and I think I might have even said this on the last one that we had, something about Japanese city pop. I remember saying it on a podcast somewhere, but I really like that genre of
mhm.
music to flip for hip hop joints, man. Japanese city pop, they got some cuts, man.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even expect.
It's funny you mentioned that because there's a mix I found earlier this morning I was listening to. I'll send you the link for it later.
Oh yeah, word, yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, they got some heat, man. Like, and then like you don't know what they're saying, so it's like even better. So it's like I could just flip something and not
Hmm.
worry about like he's saying to take the dishes out. I don't know what he's saying, but it's dope. I'm gonna
Yeah,
flip it, like rap over it. You know what I mean? So it's dope, man. I like it.
that's dope. Yeah, my son, my oldest son, he got me into this synthwave genre. It's kind of
Oh
like a electro, but it's got like a 80s type feel to it.
yeah, is that the what do they call it? They call it something like something wave or something like I forget what it's called, but it's like I know what you're talking about though, and it's dope. I like
Hmm.
that. Yeah, I like that stuff too. It's real. I like feel good music. You know what I mean? I don't like to listen to a lot of hip hop all the time. You know what I mean? So like, I like to broaden out and listen to other things.
Hmm.
And I like that stuff. That it's dang, it's on the tip of my tongue too. But it's like something wave. Um, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Now, listening to hip hop music, aside from the artists that are on your album, who are you currently listening to?
Oh, artist wise, like hip hop artists?
Yeah.
Dang, you know what? To be honest, I'm going back because I wasn't old enough to listen to Daz Effects. I wasn't old enough to listen to Guru Mass Appeal, and the old Gangstar stuff. I wasn't old enough. My parents were strict. They wouldn't let me listen to no like parental advisory stuff. I had one tape that was in '93. It was Hip Hop Hooray, and it was a single because it was like edited or there wasn't really too much cursing in it or
Uh-huh.
whatever. Like I had one single tape, and then I didn't get another hip hop album until like '95 or '96, and that was like Skilo, Heavy D,
Uh,
like just stuff that was kind of clean. You know what I mean? So I didn't get a chance to really dive into what I've really been into is like Easy Mo B production, like
Mm.
his production and what he did for these artists back in like the early 90s. It was crazy. I've said that 93 was the best year in hip hop, but everything I've been listening to came out in 95. Recently, everything that I've been listening to recently, 95, and it's blowing my mind. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like I could put this on like even the Lost Boys record, Renee, like that is such a crazy record. You know what I mean? That's such a crazy record. So I've been listening to a lot of that, even old Naughty. We gonna break, we gonna smash. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
I wish I was old enough to like appreciate that music when it came out. You know what I mean? Because that would be something crazy. But like I'm appreciating more what came out before me.
Mm.
That's kind of what I've been on lately. I haven't really been diving into a lot of newer artists.
Mm.
Shout out to Food Sick Inc. that does these reviews on his IG. I find artists from him. If he
Mm.
rates them at like a 4.8 or something, I'm like, I never heard of these cats. But lately he's been playing the music from them in the post.
Oh yeah,
So that's great because then I'm hearing the music, I'm hearing what you're rating him, and then I'm like, yo, he's nice. Let me check him out. You know what I mean? So I'm actually like, there's a cat by the name of like A1, AWON. He's really nice. And he came out with a project and it's almost like a jazz hip hop type vibe to it. And he's like really like, rhyming crazy on it. I mean,
yeah.
these guys are dope.
Um,
And it almost reminds me of like,
what's his name? A1 and Phonics. That's
that's
what it
it.
is.
That's
Yeah,
exactly what it is.
yeah.
That whole album is crazy. There's even a beat in there where I'm like, yo, you should have rapped on this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yo, this project is crazy. So I've been listening, I listen to the guys, man. I listen to the bros, but um lately I've been diving into like 90s hip hop and stuff that sounds like 90s hip hop.
Mm.
Really. You know what I mean? If I find it.
Yeah, A1 and Phonics. They got a big catalog of music together.
Yeah, they're ill. I'm gonna have to tap into more of it, man, because
Yep,
I'm a
definitely.
fan. I'm a fan now. That's like stuff like, and I don't really get fanny over, a lot of stuff,
Hmm.
but that's definitely stuff that I would like to just put in the CD player and ride out to, because it's not real. Like I don't like a lot of like really crazy like I'm gonna throw you in the back of the trunk. You know what I mean? And all that type of weird stuff. I don't really like that. You know what I mean? At least not on a regular basis. So I like to like kind of like vibe out and catch a vibe. And I think that stuff is really dope, man, what they're doing.
Hmm. It gives more of a not just replay value, but almost like a timeless feel to it.
Definitely, yeah, timeless. That's a great way to explain it. Is it's timeless music. There's another cat that I found out today from Food Sick Inc. And it's a yellow album cover with a flower in the middle of it, and it's like a ode to Little Brother. And
Mm.
I forget what his name is. It escapes me because I just tapped in with him like today or earlier today and listened and was like, yo, he's nice. Um, but I even scrolled his IG real quick and listened to a couple of things, and I'm like, wow, this is really dope, man. Like this, I like music with substance. Like I don't like to hear a bunch of drug talk all day long. How many hours you spend over the stove. I think that it just gets played out to me. You know, it's just played out. But you know, to each his own. Everybody's got to do their thing. But I've always said that if you can't make a track about your mom, or you can't make a track about your woman, or you can't make a track about losing a best friend, or you can't make a track, then you're not really all that dope of an artist to me. If you can't tell a story, like what happened to the storytelling in hip hop?
Yeah,
So it's like if you can't do these things, then to me you're not really all that great. You might be good, and you might be good in a certain lane, but you ain't no Black Thought. You know what I'm saying? Like these are cats that are very well. Even Ransom. Ransom is crazy. Like
yeah.
The joint that he did where he's speaking it like he's Kyrie Irving, that joint is crazy. Like, who
That's
does
the
that?
lyricism right there. Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
it hits your bones. Like, you feel it because anybody that's been on that spectrum of the way that Kyrie feels and his sentiments towards things, it really resonated with me when Ransom made that record, man.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you're doing the record the way I feel, like all about this stuff. Like, that's the way I feel. And you made
Yeah.
the record
Put
for
the
me.
emotion into it. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is very important to hit those spots. Even with the I Am God album, when he's talking about the lady that was abused by her boyfriend, and I don't know if you heard that record, man, but it's a crazy record on the Bloodstained Suede 2 album. He's basically saying, telling the story of a girl that's been abused by her boyfriend. Everything started out great, but he started heavily drinking. He winds up putting hands on her, and
That's the
then it winds up.
is that the unhappy home track.
Um,
Trying to remember.
no, Unhappy Home is the one where he's talking about his moms and shit like that.
Oh, that's right.
Uh,
Okay.
but the other one is When You Find a Girl You Love Has Gone. That one, right? Must go on. And he's telling the story, right? About the girl who's been abused by her boyfriend. And he winds up beating her up or whatever. She winds up like leaving. But then when she left, like he winds up having problems, like kidney
Breaking
liver
down. Mm-hmm.
problems or whatever. And so he winds up being in a hospital, and she comes to visit him while he's on his deathbed, and then she's basically like looking at him in the same position that she was in when he was beating her up, and
Yep.
now the tables have turned.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's crazy, man. Like, where's the storytelling at? So I like music with substance, and that's what I like. You know what I mean? So if you can't do stuff like that, you may be good, but you're not great.
Yeah. That's one of the things I like about Elzai. He's an ill storyteller, but he has a dark way of portraying, his stories. Like you can visually see, the dark eeriness of it,
Yeah,
and he excels in
painting
that.
pictures. Yeah, you painting the pictures with your rhymes. Elzai
Hmm.
is fantastic at doing that. He's one of the illest MC. He don't get a lot of credit either, man. He don't get a lot of credit, And I think it's probably because of where he's from. He don't get a lot of credit, but he's ill. Facts. Isn't he from Detroit or something?
Yeah, he's from Detroit. Yep.
Yeah, he don't get a lot of credit, man. Detroit MCs, they don't get a lot of credit, man. But yeah, he's ill. I think if Dilla would have lived longer, he might have had some more shot. You know what I mean? But even Dilla don't get a lot of credit. I mean, for cats like us, he gets all the credit. But for cats like it random, if you ask somebody random on the street, hey man, you ever heard of Jay Dilla? Like who? J. Cole? You know what I mean? So like these cats don't get a lot of credit, man, but they're dope in their own right.
Yep. Yep. Mm. Um, Being that we have two fathers here, and I mentioned, my oldest son put me onto some music. Have you been put onto any music?
You know what? My eldest, he's 13.
Hmm.
And this was like a year or two ago, and he was listening to something. I'm like, what is that? I can't remember what the who the artist was, but the song is like it's like I thought I knew you wanted me. I knew something like that, right? And it's like catchy, but it's like it sounds mad 80s ish. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'm like, what is this? What are you listening to? Like, what is this? And he put me on game to what it was. So every now and again, you know what I mean? Every now and again, I catch a whiff of something that's dope. You know what I mean? But I like it because it sounded 80s ish. You know what I mean? Like it sounded like something that would be popping in the 80s.
Yeah, so
That style of stuff is coming back too, man. The
yeah, I was
whole
gonna say
80s
that.
vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Everything come full circle.
It does, man. Yeah, it's crazy. You would never think, but even like when I was in seventh grade, bell bottoms came back. Everybody was rocking bell bottoms. I'm like, where did this come from?
Hmm. Man, what was I gonna say? Oh, with the Loopzilla project, I think this is one of the few times I've heard uh Casablanca not rhyming at his his normal up tempo speed that he's on. What track?
Ah,
That was the Straight Jacket joint.
oh yeah, straight jacket. Yeah, yeah, man, it's crazy, man. Casa slayed these records, man, in more ways than one. Of course, behind the boards and the on safety record. That was a record we actually had tucked for the backdrop two that we're gonna come out. Excuse me, that we're gonna come out with. So
Hmm.
that was a record that we actually had tucked, and I hadn't heard it yet. But he was like, "Yo, I actually recorded to that joint that you had sent me. I think this would fit Loopzilla." And I'm like, "Okay." So during that time, I was kind of iffy on whether or not I was going to do vinyl for the project.
Yeah.
I was iffy about it, and I knew that I needed to have the project under a certain amount of time in order to secure a good sounding vinyl.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, I don't know if I have the time or whatever. If I do have the time, let's line up the joints, see what time we got. And if I have the time for it, let's add it on there. And so that's what happened. Like, we had the time for it and all that. And I'm like, bet, let's just throw it on there. Let's throw it on track number 3. I wanted everything to flow well for the album. So that's why the order is the way that the order is, because I actually did. It wasn't just I just, well, we're throwing everything wherever. Like, nah, I didn't do that. Like, I really meticulously like, okay, this track's gonna go here. After this track, I want it to be like a roller coaster ride. So in the beginning, I want, in the beginning of a roller coaster ride, you just shoot right out. Like
Hmm.
boom. That's why it's like down, 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 down with that joint, right? And then I still keep the momentum with the Squeegeo and Rilio. The same aesthetic kind of vibes, right? Then I drop it into at the end of you going fast and you're going up, right? And then you hit that little that little cliffhanger. That's the on safety. So that's the on safety where it's getting you ready to come down. You know what I mean? And then boom, you're smoothing on down for the ride now. And now that one is going to be the water joint. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going, but you're still you're not going super fast, but you're cruising down this hill. You know what I mean? And then I kind of wanted it to be like a roller coaster ride, but still you're content. You know what I mean? A roller coaster isn't all speed and all that. You have little breaks and stuff where you have hangers. Okay, now you're dropping down. So that's the way that I wanted everything to kind of flow like that. You know. And then of course I had to end it with the crocodile slippers joint. That's a crazy joint.
Crazy.
You know. And plus I didn't have a lot of like I didn't have really a lot of like soulful type joints on this record. My man Trust calls it like it almost sounds like a who's the cats? SA. What are they? Who they? It's what's his name? Alchemist is OG. What's his name? DJ Mugg, Soul Assassins. So
Mhm.
my man
Okay. Yeah.
Trust once said it's kind of like a Soul Assassins vibe, right? It kind of reminds him like a
Mhm.
Soul Assassins vibe. So I really didn't have a lot of like crazy like soulful records on this joint. Um, I just mainly cooked the joints aesthetically to where who I wanted on what, and I wasn't like going, I'm gonna make a soulful out. Like I wasn't doing that. So I wanted to end it with that joint because it is a soulful record, but it's also a hard record too.
Yep.
So I want to start it off hard and I want to end it hard. That was one of the goals too. So doing that.
That's how some of the best albums are. You start out like that and you end that way.
Yeah, and that's I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, you got to do it, man.
Yep.
It's first impression is everything. If you start the joint out and it's like a lullaby, people ain't even gonna go to the next joint. You know, you gotta have them wanting more and more and more and more. You know, so that's what I kind of wanted to do.
Yep. We got an artist that I interviewed before tuning in, .com Intelligence. He was mentioning the song and the artist that you were talking about. Your son was playing. He said Steve Lacy.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. I thought I knew.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I knew you wanted me. That's it. Yeah, he got it right. Yeah. Shout out to you, my G. Yeah, appreciate you. Got to give him his credit, right? Steve
Yeah.
Lacy. Yeah, that's him.
Mm. We gonna see any visuals?
Oh, there's a visual already out. It's Trey 8. I think it dropped yesterday or day before yesterday. It's crazy because I can't keep track of everything. But it dropped yesterday or the day before yesterday. Pagame, Trey 8, Pagame. It's on Pocket of Plug YouTube page.
Let's
Yep.
go look that up
Shout
real
out
quick.
Pocket of Plug.
Yeah, Pac is that's another one right there.
Yeah, he got his ear to
Definitely
the
for the culture,
streets.
man. Appreciate everything that he do.
Yeah, he's been putting on for the culture for a long time. Yeah.
Let's see if I can find that. Yep, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go play this for the people right now.
Word. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, yeah. Good. I don't even know how to start this. I said, make way for the main event. Niggas was waiting in line till they found out they had to pay to get in. Thought it was free, must have been sniffing special K with your friends. 8 million and 3,800 new ways to get ends. Let us begin. Off the gate with no major endorsements. No iron plates, but the weight was enormous. When the law was trying to detain us and harm us, fuck I'm talking about, they still do, except now we in ranges and Porsches. OG said the 80s was the greatest form. Then the poison rained on them like Agent Orange. Cartier frames wore them 2 times and gave them away to a gay bitch for doing my braids. Yeah, I get along with all pronouns and types today, but you never gonna catch me hanging at the pride parade. Cut it like the dudes overdoing it with the lidocaine. I don't give a fuck about your uncle or his biker gang. Time is money, money's time. I know the price of fame. And if I ever tell a lie, may I ignite in flames. Cold world under pressure, hoping for a diamond while I drop the truth or the other woke and open-minded. I don't care if my son co-signs you done, there's no consignment. Stop it with the chakra shit, your ties need alignments. Vodka with the tonic, I'm a problem, let's be honest, nigga, bog me. I need another comma for my time, it's been amazing, but I gotta go now. It's Ocho.
Ocho.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fiery. Yeah, peace to my man Trey 8, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's ill, man. He's really ill. He don't get a lot of credit either, but he's really dope. Really dope, dope MC.
Yeah, he's nice. Speaking of, have you seen the new Godzilla movie that came out? That's winning awards for visual effects and everything.
Oh, it is? I don't know. The last Godzilla one that I seen was the joint where P. Diddy was on the soundtrack. Like that was probably like 99 or something.
Oh, okay.
Haven't seen a Godzilla movie since, but
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to viewing it. I mean, it must be dope, but for the effects and all that, I have to check it out. I'll see. Usually, what I do is I like to see the ratings on like IBMD or whatever. I see the ratings, and if the ratings are dope, it might give it a shot. But if the ratings are trash and they give it like anything lower than like 6.5, chances are I'm not watching it. I did watch that new Snoop Dogg movie where he's coaching the kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen
Yeah,
that yet.
that movie was funny. It was funny,
Mhm.
but it wasn't like a Friday, you know what I mean? But it was like
Okay.
it was good enough for one watch. I wouldn't
Mhm.
watch the movie again. At
Okay.
least I wouldn't watch the movie again for another couple of years, you know.
Mhm.
But I did like that movie. Just if it's got a good rating on it, then I'll watch it. But I'll tap into it. I'll see what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. You definitely Godzilla -1. Not the one with Kong, but the one that came out in Japan.
Oh, okay. It came out in
Came out
Japan.
last year. It's really good.
Ah, yeah, because Japan got a lock on that too.
Oh
So
yeah.
if it came out in Japan, it probably is nice.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
they they they, they went to the roots on that one.
I love the story of it though. Like I love the whole story of Godzilla. Like even when those older ones, the '60s and all that, I
Mhm.
watched those as a kid and I liked those.
Yep.
You know, so I like the story of it. It almost sounds like even the one that I watched, like the one where P Diddy was on the soundtrack. That dun, 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 dun. I forget what it was, but they sampled like a rock song for it or something.
Hmm.
But I liked it that one. You know what I mean? Because it was like it almost seemed like it could be real. Like he's swimming in the water and rams up against this boat or this submarine and they're like, oh, it's Godzilla. Like it almost sounds like it could be like a Loch Ness monster type story.
Yep.
It sounds like it could be real. So yeah, I like that.
Definitely, definitely. Hmm. Man.
It's crazy. There's people tapping in. I can't see the chat. I don't know if there's like, am I like in the wrong area or something?
I'm not sure. Uh,
I
.com
did. I did
is
see. I did see his stuff pop up when it said .com on there,
oh,
and
okay.
yeah, I did see that then.
Yeah, he's the only one I see right now.
Oh, okay, bet they'll probably tune in later, watch it
Hmm.
later on, watch the rerun.
Hmm.
It is kind of late too, though. Like for Eastern time,
Yeah.
kind of late. Like people are asleep.
Now I wanted to ask you something based off of what you said earlier. You were mentioning the runtime, so the quality is good for the vinyl. Can you break that down for me?
Yeah, I can break it down because I'm just gonna basically give the game because the game was given to me. I'm not gonna withhold the information. That's like some 10% shit. So I'll go ahead and give the game. So it's basically like I got put on to Kunaki.com,
Okay, I'm familiar.
right?
Hmm.
Okay, so Kunaki, they do one-off vinyl records. I believe they are lathe cut vinyl, so I believe they're cut and not pressed.
Yeah.
But I had no idea that Me and I Am God did that for Bloodstained Suede 1. We got the feedback for the vinyl on Bloodstained Suede 1, and the black vinyl, it was good, great quality sounding. But we also did the picture vinyl for Bloodstained Suede 1, and it did not come back as the greatest of
It's the black.
quality with the picture
Mhm.
disc. The black one was great, but the picture disc, with the whole double double deal on it, and it's just not the greatest of quality, you know. So like sonic wise, sound wise,
Yeah.
looks great, looks amazing,
Hmm.
fabulous it looks, but as far as playing the record, trash.
I hear
Maybe
that with
not
a lot.
maybe not trash, but it's not comparable to the black vinyl. So
Yeah, I hear that with a
um
lot of picture discs.
yeah, so I had no idea we did that with Bloodstained Suede 1. So I'm like, whoa, we did that with Bloodstained Suede 1? Okay, well bet I could probably, you know, get a couple vinyl at a Loopzilla then. But I need to make sure that each side is no more than 20 minutes long.
Okay.
If you have a automatic turntable
Hmm.
that the tone arm goes back turns
Yeah.
in automatically,
Hmm.
it may run a problem even if you do go the full 20 minutes. Even
Hmm.
if you do, it may get too close to the cylinder that it may retract your stuff. You know what
Wow, I
I'm
did not
saying?
know that.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, like I played with it. I was like, okay, well, Casa, can you shorten this track? Because I wanted it to have the same playthrough. I mean, I could have adjusted the order of the tracks for the vinyl and been golden, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted everything to flow the way I wanted it to. I wanted 1 to 6 to be on the A side, and I wanted 7 through 14 to be on the B side, and I wanted it to play like that. So my 1 through 6, the time was running long. It was like 21 or 22 minutes. So I needed to shave off a lot of time. So I would either need to I played with it, let me tell you, and I got it down to 20 minutes, but the aesthetics, I didn't like it. I didn't like the way that things ran to the next track after having no beat there and him be like, yeah. And you know what I'm saying? And then run to the next track. I just really didn't like it. So I'm like, you know what? This go around, I'm not going to do it. If somebody else wants to press it with more space time, like an official like vinyl company like Copenhagen or even the cats at Raw Diamonds that did Me and Napoleon's joint, if they want to press it, they're probably not going to have an issue. But since, Kunaki, everything is cut and it's not pressed, that's the problem that we're having. There's only a certain amount of runtime that's going to be on that album. So yeah, so that's kind of what it was, and that's why I didn't go through with the vinyl for the album. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. If somebody wants to do it, great, but not saying that I won't do it in the future when Loopzilla 2 comes out. Just double whammy it, you know what I mean? I don't know, or I may actually do that, switch the tracks around. Now that everyone knows what order everything is supposed to be in, they won't mind if the tracks are rearranged a little bit to fit the vinyl. You know what I mean? So maybe in the future do like a little double whammy deal with that, and maybe, don't know.
I got you. And if you want these dope Loopzilla beats that Clypto produced on here, you got to get the cassette.
Yes, specifically for the cassette, and that's like we've got 2 on m25music.bandcamp.com. Me and my man June Classic, shout out June Classic. We dropped Tell Me Something I Don't Know. We dropped that in December 25th, Christmas of last year.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, so we dropped that, and then in January we came out with the cassettes, and on the B side, all the instrumentals are on the B side as well. So that's basically what I'm doing, is just strictly for the physicals, especially strictly for the cassettes. That's what we're doing. We're putting all the instrumentals on the B side. Just something extra to give the fans. I think it's dope. You know what I mean? I don't do it all the time. It's not really something that I do. So, why not? I think it's dope to give the listeners, something more to vibe to, and they can freestyle in their car, whatever,
And that brings me back to my Walkman days when I used to always buy maxi singles, because they had the instrumentals for every track that was on it, even the exclusive B-side remix.
Oh, word. Yeah. I remember the Maxwell CDs, the tapes, but what I was doing is I was recording off of the radio, because like I said, my parents were so strict, I couldn't have these songs. So I would record them all. I remember I recorded Bone Thugs and Harmony off the radio, and I didn't know their name, so I thought they were called Mad Dogs in Harmony. This was like 95, 96. I had to have been about 11 or 12, but I could remember vividly recording stuff off of the radio, man, like songs that I liked, even like that I Rock the Party That Rocks the Body, You Rock the Party That Rocks the Body. Like, that was my cut. That MC Light joint with Missy on it. Mm-hmm. I was like, and I was a heavy Timbaland fan during that time too. Like Up Jumps the Boogie. Like, oh yeah, I really liked that stuff. It was just so left field, but it was really dope. But yeah, I get a lot of my stuff off the radio, man. I remember them tape days, man. I even recorded some Notorious B.I.G. off the radio, because of course I couldn't have that album. I think I wound up getting the album later, but it was edited, and it was like missing like 2 songs. So then later on, like as years go by, I'm listening to like the real version of Notorious B.I.G. Life After Death, and I'm like, hey man, my album didn't have these songs on it. But of course, because they're so explicit, you know what I mean? But like I was like, hey, where were these songs at? Yeah, it's crazy. Those were the days.
Yeah. You've been this year dropped some beats. One of those beats was what was it? Love for Hami.
Oh, word. Yeah, you heard that one? Oh, I appreciate you. Yeah, that's an ill joint, man. I really like that joint. I don't think anybody's bit on that beat yet. Not sure, I gotta double check, but yeah, man. A lot of the times, man, the dope stuff that I think is really dope, like as you know, the dope stuff that you think is really dope too, ain't nobody biting on those. You know what I mean? You gotta have a certain swang, you know what I mean, for you to even get on that. But it's it's a dope joint, man. That was one of my nice joints that I cooked recently. Yeah, that I was like, yeah, I like this one. Even the joint with the girl with the afro on it, where it's like "Here with Me," that's another joint that I like flipping that joint. You know, some joints they just call me. Some samples they just call me. You know, other joints it's like whatever, but some samples really call me to where it's like I could just listen to the beat. I don't even need nobody to rap on it. You know? Yeah. So maybe an instrumental album in the future, maybe. I'm thinking about it, man. I really am, man, because I don't want to give it away too much. But you know the acronym for what rap group is NBN, right? In the 90s. NBN. By I actually said something about them, that I had their cassette. NBN, they came out in like 1993.
Sorry, okay.
All right, so I got an idea with that. So instead of it being like that, it's looping. Boom, boom. Instead of it being that, it's looping. You know what I mean? And I want to have it written out in the same aesthetics. You know what I mean? And just come out with the instrumental tape like that. You know? So, yeah, I'm thinking about doing that.
Okay.
Sometime in the future. I wanted to code it a little bit because I don't want nobody to take my idea. You know?
You threw me for a loop right there because I'm not used to thinking of them in that way.
That's what I do. That's what I do. I'm the loop digger. You know what I mean? I'll throw you through a loop. Facts. Yeah, I think I came out with so I think all of this year I came out with. Did you get a chance to peep the Mesquite Helene album that we came out with, the EP? Eclipse.
Yep.
Yeah, it came out with that one. And then the June Classic one. And then right before that, it was the Garcia Vega album. It's called Ascension. I don't know if you tapped into that one.
I think I didn't hear yet.
Yeah, that one's dope, man. Give it a listen, man. On the physical CDs, they come with the instrumentals. On a physical CD of the Iller Clips joint comes with the instrumentals. So it's like a 6-track EP, but you know, it comes with the 6 instrumentals on there. So even with joints like that we're doing with with EPs, that's what I'm gonna do. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all the instrumentals on there and let y'all have your field day with them. You know.
Yeah,
you can even create like remixes and stuff with those. You know, like put Notorious B.I.G. on them, or like when you're spinning and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a dope thing to do. You know, it's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look that one up.
Yeah, Garcia,
I remember you posting about that one, but I've been trying to catch up on a few
Yeah,
And
there's a
think
lot. There's a lot to
January.
catch up on for sure. Yeah, but that's the one. I don't know if you tapped in with the June Classic one. That's like some
Yeah,
grown man.
I heard that one.
You know, I I really like that
Tell me
album.
something
And
I
my
don't know,
man
right?
Charles
Yeah.
was like, I wasn't. He was like, I don't know about that one right now. But then later on, he hit me like a week later. He was like, Yo, that June Classic album really grew on me. Really great job on that album. And like I said, I don't like to listen to all my stuff and play it out. So after being done with the June Classic album, um, we got CDs and stuff for the album. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take the CD, I'm gonna put it in the truck, and I'm gonna drive to work. And I was
Hmm.
like, yo, this album is great. You did a great job with this album. Because I like to listen to it on fresh ears and really get all the aesthetics of everything and the clips and all that type of stuff. And I was like, yo, we really did that, man, and did that in like a short period of time too. Shout out June Classic, man. He worked really, really hard and really, really quick on rapping on those beats and sending them back, man. Well,
He's another one with that great work ethic, man.
but there's more in store, man. 2024 is not over, man. We got some more heat for you. Let me tell
Oh,
you. You know what's coming next, right? You know what's coming
what's
next pretty soon? Pretty soon, Clark Connoisseurs 3. It's coming.
ah
It's coming, man. Shout out my
oh
man Elo and Preem, man. We coming out with that one. It's gonna be special, man. It's gonna be a real special album. Um, on top of that, what's coming next is my man Brian Bars Burns
hmm
album. That's coming soon. It's already done, and it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? If you're not familiar with Brian Bars Burns, he's also on My Sunday Medici album with Napoleon the Legend, right? So we also got Napoleon the Legend on the Brian Bars Burns album. It's called Divine Timing. Um, that's the Brian Bars Burns album. So that's dropping soon. Um, just kind of getting everything lined up. Just like how you said earlier, like I'm just getting things lined up. Like that's kind of how it is. I'm just getting things lined up and trying to get things in order. Me and my man Substance 810, we coming out with something too, man.
oh
That's gonna
man.
be crazy with me and Substance. Oh man, yeah. Wait till you hear that, man. Me and Substance, me and my man Charles, from Divine Crime ENT, we actually coming out with our album too. We finalizing the last couple of tracks, getting them mixed by Casa, and we're gonna come out with something under Divine Crime ENT. I think it might
Okay.
even be called the Divine Crime album. It might even be called Divine Crime. I'm not entirely sure yet. Um, but that's coming. Clark's is coming. Me and my man Trust One. He's also a producer, so he's based out of San Diego as well. So we're collabing, and we're gonna come out. It's just all me and Trust One's beats, and my man
Mhm.
Noose Tyrant on the bars, and he's so dope and so like intricate. He's like crazy with it. So that's coming out soon. It's called Juxtaposed Echoes. And my man Johnny Bosch is doing the artwork for that, like I said, and it's crazy. So
Sorry.
that's coming out soon too. Um, there's a lot of stuff that's in the works, man. Me and my
You
man Mr.
working?
Ripley, we coming,
Oh,
yeah, we
word.
coming out with something. I think I think all that needs to be done is just throwing these joints to mixing and mastering, and I think he's waiting on one more feature. But everything
Mm.
is finished in rough draft mode, so it's just getting it mixed and mastered. Um, but yeah, like I said, I like to keep a full I like to keep a full plate. I think me and Banish are gonna connect on something again,
Ah, man,
maybe for
what
like
you
an
working
EP or two. It's gonna be dope, and then me and Phil V, we're gonna be working on God's Earth 2 once he finished getting his chakras aligned, because he's like not online right now. I even hit his cell phone and it's like he's not picking that phone up. So like I said, when he gets finishes getting his chakras aligned, then we'll reconnect on God's Earth Part 2. Um, so, but yeah, man, it's dope, man. Like I said, I like to stay busy, man. I like to. What I like to say is, great work creates more great work. you know,
Very
and
true.
I'm really blessed to be able to work with such dope MCs. Me and O Finesse are gonna come out with um another project as well. Me and Silent Snipers are always building, man. That's my guy. I
That's
want to
dope.
actually get like a full joint. I want to get a full joint with him, man. I think it's that time. We've been dropping Lucy's and stuff like that, but I
Mhm.
want to put the priority on us coming out with like a full length joint. I think it'd be really dope. Yeah,
That's dope. Dope. Mm.
yeah.
You mentioned Mr. Ripley. That's another person I gotta reach back out to, because I definitely want to speak with him on HHDG Media. Um, I know he just dropped a project, classic in the making. Showcasing a lot of artists from around the world.
Yeah, he's dope, man. He does a lot of different things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I like about him is he's everywhere, man. Like he's dibbling dabbling in the whole podcast thing, you know,
Hmm.
with I think they're called Rock City or something. Um but yeah, he's all over, man. He got a project with Isis Set, I think, a female rapper or something. He's just he does a lot, man. He's and the aesthetics of the way that he rhymes and stuff and the beats that he likes to rhyme on, like it sounds mad 90s ish. You know what I mean? I get a mad 90s vibe from it and it's real dope, man. Like I like it, man.
Dope. Yeah. Shout out to Vanish and Supreme, who I finally got to meet in person last year when they,
Oh, that's cool.
when they performed out in the Kingsland in Brooklyn.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah,
That
he's
was a
from
dope night.
NY. That's dope.
Dope night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's ill. Yeah, great brothers, man. Really, really solid dudes, man. And sometimes you meet a lot of like weirdo people in the industry. You know, they be on some weirdo type stuff, man. But like, I've been blessed to either not have to like deal with them for too long, or
Hmm.
like I've been blessed to like be steered a certain way away from the weirdos. You know, and that's why like I try and tell my man Charles, I'm like Charles, I build with these cats that I build with because they're like minded because I'm catching the vibe of who they are. Like I don't care if you rap super duper dope. If you're like a piece of shit person, or you're like finicky, or you're not like you're flaky and all that, I don't want to deal with you, man. You're just gonna wind up giving me a headache,
Yeah.
you know. So like that's just not the way. And everyone works different, you know. Some, but it's like this. I'd have a lot more respect for you if you say, "Look, man, just send me whatever,"
Hmm.
because the way I work is I may just throw it on into the car and I may vibe with it and I may just rap on it. So, that's kind of the way I work. I'd be more like I respect you more if you tell me that than you just like sleeping on a bunch of my beats that I send you where somebody else could rap on them.
Don't waste the time. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
.com was saying he humbly would like to work with you.
Hey, you know what I mean? Like I said, my plate is always full, but there's always openings. There's always room. You know what I mean? So whatever it may be, I don't know if he raps or if he,
Yeah.
oh, he raps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll send you a link to his music, and you can see y'all work from there. See what comes to be from that.
yeah, definitely. Because that's how I usually work. I'm like, okay, well, send me a link to your music. Because some people want to buy beats from me too, and I'm like, send me a link to your music. I've turned down a lot of people from buying beats from me because they're just not polished yet. You know what I mean? I like to work with polish. If I gotta get in the booth and tell you how to rap, it's a problem.
It's a problem.
You know what I mean? But yeah, send me a link to his music, man. I'll check him out, and yeah, we'll build from there, no doubt.
Definitely. Man, Loopzilla is out now. Released on what was that, March 8th.
Yeah, March 8th.
Um, Definitely go check it out. We spoke about all the artists on there. These artists, again, just like Clypto, great work ethic.
It's not on streaming yet, but it will be on
No,
streaming.
yeah, it's just on Bandcamp right now.
Everybody's gonna have their splits and all that on the streaming site. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. I'm not going through DistroKid. I'm going through my man's distribution company, my man Excel Beats. He owns a distribution company called Eclipse Distro. And it's really dope, man. They don't upcharge you or to get your YouTube money and all that like DistroKid does. Not a slight to DistroKid. I'm just speaking the facts of what it is. So like definitely check them out if you need distribution. They're not just distribution, they're a services company. So if you need certain services, whether it be merch with no overhead or whether it be, pushing a single that you want to push and all that type of stuff, look into Eclipse Distro, man. It's really a good service company. So that's what I'm going to be using to push Loopzilla out. I'm going to be putting it out on Eclipse probably within the next month or so. I just ain't got around to doing it, but I will.
Okay.
But Bandcamp for now.
That's what I'm saying, Bandcamp, yeah.
And then the physicals are crazy, so definitely cop a physical. It's going to be a collector's item. None of these stuffs are going to be repressed and redone, and you know what I mean. The CDs are crazy, the cassettes are crazy, So yeah, we got 2 different color variants on the cassettes. You can cop the teal one, or you can cop the see-through orange. You know what I mean. But definitely something for the collectors to have, definitely. And I'm not just saying that just cause.
The music speaks for itself, so once they hear the album, they already know. Have a piece of history.
Facts. Yep.
So once again, I have the link to your Bandcamp for the CD version, as well as are the t-shirts still available?
Yeah, you could cop the t-shirts too.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The tees are still available. Just allow me 5 to 7 days to get them done and shipped out to you. You know what I mean? Whatever size you want. And we'll make it happen.
Dope. And also, like you mentioned, the cassettes are available through M25.
Yes, m25music.bandcamp.com. Yeah.
Dope. Aside from Loopzilla, Clypto's definitely got a lot more in store for 2024 from what we just heard. Definitely looking forward to it. But I'm going to keep banging this Loopzilla right now.
Word. That's what it is. Yeah, appreciate you, family, no doubt.
Definitely.
That's love.
Any before you give your shouts, anything else you might want to speak on? Doesn't have to be music.
Nah, I think a lot of people don't really understand. I've been doing this loop style of production as early as 2013. You know what I mean? So, and the way that I got introduced to it was through Rock Marciano. That was who pioneered the sound and introduced me to the whole loop style of production. And I've been doing it. My first loop beat, I can go back and see, it was around 2012, 2013 that I had my first loop beat with no drums in it. It was just the drums that was in the sample or whatever. I actually think, if I'm being correct, the first loop beat that I made was People Get Ready. That's on the Rest in Peace Rashad's Son album, 12 Jewels. So that's one of the first loop style beats that I think that I've done. So I say that to say this, there's a lot of people doing this style of production, but I am definitely one of the new originators, and you can do the history and do the knowledge and go back and see that it's no BS, it's no bullshit. What I'm telling you is facts. So a lot of people take my sound, and run with it. But when I was coming up, 2014, 15, had my first placement in 2015 with Smooth and Sean Rosati. You could count on one hand how many people, how many producers were doing this style of production. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that Madlib wasn't doing it, but Madlib wasn't getting busy during that time that we were coming up. He got busy after, that like he took a hiatus and he wasn't really he wasn't putting out a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? It was the new hip hop renaissance that was really doing it. Giallo Point, me, Knowledge, Nicholas Craven, Who's the Cat, Camouflage Monk, before he got with Griselda.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The God Fahim came a little bit later. Derringer, a little tiny bit later, But all these cats that you could really count on one hand who was doing this style of production. D-Mar, you know what I mean? Surplus. And I'm going to tell you, Surplus actually came before I did. Surplus came before I did because he came out with a joint called Loop Dreams with Supreme Cerebral in 2014. We didn't come out with Master Builders until 2016. I didn't get my first placement. With Sean Rosati and Smooth Calhoun until 2015. So they had already had Loop Dreams out already. So there, like I said, there was only a few producers doing this style of production, So I'm not piggybacking off of anybody. I'm my own entity. You know what I'm saying? And I don't just flip one genre of music. I flip everything. I'll flip a rock sample. I'll flip this. You can go in my catalog and see. You know what I mean? So I just want to be recognized as one of them ones. And I think that's another reason why I go so hard doing what I'm doing, is because I want to be recognized as one of them ones. I don't care who's got an album with who. I don't care who kind of brought this, to the whole world. I don't care. I want to be recognized as one of them ones. That's it. That's it.
Yep. Because everybody else can't do it the same way.
Exactly. Yeah, I got my own style. Even though people may do the loop stuff or whatever, like I got my own style. That's why I call the first album that I had is called what? The Loop. The second album that's compilation is called The Loop 2, House of the Loops, right? This compilation album is called what? Loopzilla. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always gonna run with that. That's the one.
Yep.
That's the one. Yep. Oh, you got the vinyl too. Yeah. Shout out to Huey P for doing the artwork for that, man. It's crazy.
Hey, Huey P's doing this thing.
Yeah, he's ill. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it, man. Just want to say that, man, and support if there's joints that's on streaming, stream it. You know what I mean? Buy it, stream it, however, post it on your. I appreciate all the love and support, however it may come. At the end of the day, so. Is what it is. If you want to know more about my catalog, just dive into it, man.
That's
dive into it. Take a nose dive. Yeah.
Dope, man. Clypto, once again.
Peace and love to the supporters.
Yes, indeed. Keep it going. Everyone that shares it, everyone that comments on it, that's where it's at. That's how it's always been. Word of mouth.
Yeah, facts.
Definitely appreciate you, Clypto, taking this time, and again, appreciate the music you continuously put out. Loopzilla is just another elevation for you.
I appreciate you having me on, man. You family, man. I appreciate you having me on. It's the second time, and it's only up from here.
Absolutely. Respect. I don't have anything else, if there's anybody else you want to shout out before we go. Floor is yours. I'll put the Instagram for anybody that wants to go check out, your page and everything.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I think I kind of tapped in with everybody during the whole podcast. You know what I mean? All the MCs that I work with, man. I appreciate everyone, man. Peace to the supporters, peace and love to the supporters and the fans. This is what it's about, man. It's about the culture, man, and with cats that are really trying to push the culture forward, and to be recognized. Sometimes it's all it takes is a little recognition, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it is, man. I think with me is just I want to be recognized as one of them ones. A little bit of recognition goes a long way, man. And I think that's it, man. People just want to be recognized, man. But yeah, peace to the supporters, man. Peace to my family, my lady, my kids, and peace to you for having me on a podcast again, man. Appreciate you.
Respect, definitely. On that note, on behalf of HHDG Media, we're gonna say peace.
Peace.